Experiencing content. I don't find your lack of faith disturbing. I'm just really excited for Rogue One. Hi everyone, it's me coming back to you with another super long video, but I hope this one is worth it. Well, they're all worth it, but that's, your own opinion, I guess. Anyways, I wanted to do a sort of 2016 Game of the Year thing, but I wasn't really feeling the awards because I've been doing awards for gazillions of years and they're sort of dumb because so many people are into so many different genres. And I wanted to do like a retrospective, and I sort of, for the most part, found myself looking at a lot of the games that came out this year with a particular angle and perspective, and it seems like 2016 was the year of the comeback narrative, where a lot of these games and companies just needed to come back and convince people and really like deliver to fans on a particular franchise or a particular title, and some of them succeeded and some of them didn't. And I wanted to sort of like go in and look at and explore all of the different games, whether they're very big or very small, whether they were really well selling titles or not well selling titles. Like all the games that you sort of look back on, you're like, yeah, 2016, those are the games, or the moments, or the reveals, or the consoles, or whatever. And there's just one narrative thread that sort of links all of them, and that's this comeback. So I guess let's explore. Let's go through the year 2016, the comeback year. I'm going to try to fly through these as fast as I can because there's a lot. But the first game that came to mind was Doom. I mean, holy shit, no one expected this to come out of the woodwork and become one of the best games of the year, multiplayer not included. What a total comeback story. Bethesda knocked it out of the park. None of us were expecting it to be this good. Doom 3 was a little, it was okay. I liked it. But holy shit, what a fucking comeback. That's how you do it correctly. And on the flip side, you had Battleborn, and in a bit you're going to see B-roll footage of Evolve. Two games that came out, and this year they had these comeback narratives they wanted to tell. Oh, we're coming back. It's going to be better than ever. Please like us. Free to play. We'll do anything. Please buy our games. And it just didn't work out. And I think you're sort of seeing the video game industry realize that you need to really attract people and you need to keep them playing your game because your game is a service now. So whether you want to give out free content, whether you want to just make sure you patch the shit out of your game, if they're not staying, you're dead in the water. And so those comeback narratives failed. On the flip side is a sort of a comeback narrative that I think a lot of people were sort of not talking about or underselling. Battlefield 1. I remember Battlefield 4 had tons of server issues. No one liked Hardline. And then they came out with this new style, this new theme. It was like, yeah, fuck it, World War I. We don't give a shit. Comeback, man. People like this game a lot. So, again, you can sort of see like a lot of these games, some of them sort of came back and they did it well and some didn't. Another example, Square Enix. I mean, holy shit, did we give them nothing but flack for years? Final Fantasy is dead, 13 is garbage, this game's taking forever to develop, what the fuck is going on? Oh my god, it got delayed. And then it comes out and people really dig it. Like, this is a great game. Did any of us see that coming at all? I mean, Square Enix had a great year. I mean, Hitman was a success. That's a good comeback narrative, right? I didn't think it was possible, but they really did. They proved me wrong. Here is another comeback narrative that maybe isn't going to work out. Gears of War is this big franchise that the Xbox totally needed, and it totally like delivered on in the 360 era, and then it came to the Xbox One, and initial sales figures don't look great. I like this game a lot, but there was this undercurrent of like, are people tired of these games? Is it going to be as big as the other ones were? Who's developing this game? Like, is the pedigree there? And I think they definitely gave us a great game. I don't know if that many people gave a shit. I mean, it's weird. Like, you can sort of make up these comeback narratives, but sometimes they're really baked into the product and who's behind the products. This one is a little bit of me just being a super snobby Blizzard fan. I love Hearthstone. I play Hearthstone every day. And for me, at least, there's this, like, esports bubble, and if you're not in it, then you don't care. But for me, like, there was this whole narrative of like the Hearthstone meta is very stale. There's too many cards. What is Blizzard gonna do? They introduced formats. They finally made a standard and a wild where they had old cards be out of esports contention, and then these new expansions this year were great. So there's a little bit of a comeback sort of narrative there. That I really appreciate. So I feel like every particular game, if you're really into it, they have these little ups and downs, these little roller coaster rides of comeback narratives. I feel like a lot of years you were able to do this, but this year just had like too many. The biggest one, Nintendo. Holy fucking shit. And Nintendo's dead in the water. The Wii U was a failure. What are they going to do? They keep delaying Zelda. Oh my god. What the fuck is this NX? How much is it going to cost? When's it coming out? Are the shareholders, like, are they pushing Nintendo to go mobile? What the fuck are they doing? I mean, it was just ad nauseum. The amount of fucking think pieces and fan speculation and expectations. And it was just too much. And then this fucking Switch trailer drops, and we lose our collective minds. We totally forget all the bad stuff they did, and it's like, here we go, we're ramping up. Super Mario Run, Pokemon Go, Sun and Moon, Switch, we're doing it. Nintendo's finally coming back, and everything seems like it's going to be super exciting for 2017, but it seemed like Nintendo was able to sort of dig through and find their own path. There is this comeback narrative. We all want to see Nintendo succeed. They have some of the best games ever. No one wants Nintendo to fail. And this Switch trailer was sort of like the first ray of light. I was like, oh wow, maybe I'm going to buy a Nintendo console for the first time ever. Speaking of comeback narratives, Lucky Palmer? Do you guys fucking remember that shit? Like, that is just mind-boggling. I don't even want to get into this whole VR thing, because like I used to work in VR, and there's the Vive and the Rift, and there's mobile VR, and there's the PSVR, but that just has a gazillion narratives you could really pick through. I mean, geez Louise, I could sit here for days and talk about this shit. So let's just hope that this narrative gets a little richer, just because I like making videos about drama. But yeah, man, VR. I mean, this is the year. This is the start of it, and I hope the future gets a lot brighter, because it's promising. It's got potential. Not a lot of people experienced it, so that's another story. Comeback narrative, Owlboy. 9 years in development, I want to say. That's off the top of my head. I don't want to do research for these things. I like this game. I don't love it. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but I definitely played it, and I like it. That's just like really, it's just like really nice to know that like these games that people like dedicate their lives to, they spend so long working on, finally come out and they're good. There might be another clip of that coming up. But like, you know, Yooka-Laylee and there's like all these indie games that like we want to see these things triumph and do it. Yeah, we finally gave you the money and you made the thing. Here's another interesting one. Capcom. You can totally talk about Capcom coming back in a good way and a bad way. Street Fighter, we'll get to that later, but the good way is that it seems like they're totally on the ball with Resident Evil, and it seems like they figured out their shit, and I guess decided to pick up where Konami dropped off with PT, and they figured, let's just fucking go for it, man. Let's just put together like a really new style and just new gameplay and a new theme and just new everything, and just put out creepy demos and just get people back into it, get them fucking excited for Resident Evil 7, which is coming out very soon. So that's a great comeback narrative. I feel like Capcom is just like one of the easiest companies to pick on, just because they won't bring back Mega Man, and I don't know what the fuck they're doing with fighting games. That's a whole nother video. But it's good to know that at least it looks like they seem to know what they're doing now. I guess they're trying to be competent at something, because I really want Capcom to give us great games again, because they're very good at giving us great games. Here we go. This fucking shit. This year of the comeback narrative, man, it has just been going south for Capcom. Sales, reviews, critical opinion, fan opinion, fucking Street Fighter, the worst modern history release of a fighting game I've ever witnessed, and I really don't know what Season 2 is going to bring. Just a total, utter shit show, and I really hope Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is good, because, like, it seemed like they were struggling the whole year to just give fans what they wanted and do something, but none of it's working, and I feel very bad. But they should have done better. Oh boy, comeback narrative, Last Guardian, holy fucking shit. I feel like everyone on the internet who follows games knows the narrative of this. Everyone knows the story of The Last Guardian. It took God knows how long to develop, and there was a gazillion studios working on it, and I don't know why Sony never cut bait, but they finally did it. They released the game, and it's exactly what we all thought it would be, is this very sad, awesome-looking game that has awful, wonky controls and camera angles. Didn't see that one coming. But at least it's nice to know that, like, that narrative is good. Those people got the game out, and apparently it's very good, so good for them. You know, that's nice. I don't know if it'll sell well, but you know what? Who cares? They finally got the game out, December 6th, a day that will live in infamy. Here we go, The Witness. I've been hearing about this game for fucking God knows how long, and I didn't love Braid, but I really appreciate and respect Braid from Jonathan Blow, and this game came out and rocked my world. Rocked my world! I think this might be my favorite game of the entire year. Fucking utterly brilliant, and I'm so happy that, like, this game came out when there were no other games, so like I could just like play this for like 4 straight weeks with nothing to bother me, like no other games to get to. God, like I might do another video just on this game, but like that's a great comeback narrative. Like Jonathan Blow not doing a whole lot for forever, staying low key under the ground, and then boom, hits you with maybe the best puzzle game ever made. So yeah, if you haven't played The Witness, please go play The Witness because it is fucking great. And I heard that game sold very well, and that they're gonna do another game because this game did so well. That's what you get for selling an indie game for $40. On the flip side, Titanfall 2. Listen, Titanfall 2 is a fucking phenomenal game, and I love Titanfall 1, and I really like the single player, but it is the saddest thing on earth to hear that this game is doing abysmally, and that EA is maybe not going to do more Titanfalls, and that Respawn is just going to have to do, I guess, a Star Wars game to get out of the basement. Like, man, I really wanted this game to do gangbusters. I think everyone should play this game, but it just didn't come out in the right time, and I don't know what they were doing with the marketing, and it was just sort of sad and pathetic. And the comeback narrative of like them trying to like just do everything they can to get people to buy it with sales and free stuff and word of mouth, and I mean all the critics loved it because they're right, it's fucking great. But the player count is just not there, and it's just so fucking sad because I play that game all the time. Here's another comeback narrative. Amy Hennig leaves Naughty Dog. I don't know what's going to happen with Uncharted. I'm not sure that Neil Druckmann and Bruce Staley can quickly turn around a project completely after they had come off The Last of Us, but they did it with Uncharted 4, which maybe is the best Uncharted game. Terrific. And again, maybe it's me sort of like intentionally trying to make a comeback narrative out of something that maybe isn't there, but I definitely was sort of really concerned when Amy Hennig left, and I was like, boy, I don't know what's going on with this Uncharted game. It's getting delayed a couple times. Is this necessary? Usually movies, when you get to 4, they're not as good, you know? But this game is great, and that's really great to see, and I cannot wait for The Last of Us Part 2. So yeah, if you haven't played Uncharted, go play that shit. Ubisoft being taken over by Vivendi. That's another comeback narrative I hope happens. But Watch Dogs, dude. I played Watch Dogs, and that shit was mediocre. And I was so fucking pissed because they had sold that game so well at every E3. And there was a comeback narrative that was like, oh boy, the pressure's on now. We actually got to make this a franchise. It sold well. Maybe we duped people. Are they going to come back? Are they going to give us their money for the second game, even though if it looks great and is great? We sort of tricked them with the first game because it wasn't good, and I don't know. I don't know if this comeback narrative is gonna pay off for Ubisoft. Anyways, I think they want this to be a franchise so they can sort of go on and off with Assassin's Creed every year. I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull it off, but there was definitely a lot of heat for them to make Watch Dogs 2. I'm sure that a lot of people just sort of like just zoned out and they don't even care that this game exists because the first one, you know, bothered them so much. But that was definitely something I was keeping my eye on when they unveiled it. So 2016, man, just fucking nothing but these stories. Oh boy, Fallout 4. But this actually isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Xbox Scorpio reveal, because everyone loves to do the whole Dickensian arc of the console wars, and Sony's up and Microsoft is down, and the sales figures. And this was the year that Microsoft was like, you know what? Round 2, fuck it, Scorpio, we're doing it. We're going to double down on that shit, and we are going to come back and really sell you on the future of the Xbox, and we're going to scare the shit out of Sony. And that sort of worked because Sony, I guess, was caught off guard, and they released their PS4 Pro, and it's shitty or whatever. I don't know. I don't hear great things about it. And the future of consoles is fascinating, but also pessimistic, just because I'm not quite sure about this whole 4K upgrade midpoint thing, but I really like my Xbox One S. I think that is the console they should have released, and I feel like this Scorpio is like the comeback narrative that will get internet redditors and commentators to really latch onto them. So that'll be fascinating to see how that goes. And we got one more coming up. What the fuck is this? Oh, this is Call of Duty. That's right. I didn't know what this was for a second. Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, the comeback. People hate our game. Thumbs down on the trailers. People hate Call of Duty. Is it dead? Are the sales going down? Blah, blah, blah. And then all anyone gave a shit about was Modern Warfare Remastered, because it is way fucking better. I love Modern Warfare Remastered. I don't play this game at all, but that's always the comeback narrative. It's like, are they going to do it? Infinity Ward, these no-name people, because everyone left the old Infinity Ward. Can this game be really good? And apparently the single player was good, but I have not stopped playing Modern Warfare Remastered, and it really makes Infinite Warfare look like dog shit, because the jumping and the running, it just doesn't fit with the maps. I don't know. It just doesn't fit. And I think the last one we got on here is Dark Souls 3. Again, you can sort of make a comeback narrative because everyone hated 2, and 2 is the worst. But despite it being somewhat good, but like, just wasn't one. And this was like they're coming back. Miyazaki, he's gonna come back after Bloodborne and really make a great Souls game, and he did. So yeah, 2016, the year of the comeback narrative. I hope you like my trip down memory lane. You can follow me on Twitter at @JaredRusso, and I think my next video is going to be about 2017 predictions. So place your bets, because that'll be a lot of fun. Woohoo. So until then, go play most of these games, or play all of them. I don't give a shit what you do. I'm not the fucking police. I can't tell you what to do. But I would advise that you play a lot of these games. And yeah, thanks for watching. And thanks for 17 plus minutes of your time.